Hello, everyone. With the draft steadily approaching and being less than 2 months away, I thought it would be the perfect time to do my lottery mock draft. As the draft lottery doesn't happen until May 16th, I simulated the lottery using a website called RealGM so that all the picks are random and not based on the regular season standings. Without further ado, let's get started. According to the sim, the Houston Rockets tank job was successful, as they ended up with the first overall pick. They obviously draft Victor Wembanyama from France. For a while, it's been known that whoever gets the first overall pick will draft him. There's no need to go into too much detail here, as anyone who's been following the NBA as of late knows that this is the obvious choice. The Portland Trailblazers jump up 3 spots to get the second pick. With this pick, they will select Scoot Henderson from the G League Ignite. For most of the season, Scoot was the definitive number 2 pick, but as of late, there have been some murmurs of Brandon Miller jumping up. But even with this, I still believe that Scoot has done enough to solidify his spot at number 2. His 17.6 points, 6.4 assists, and 5.1 rebounds in the G League have shown how NBA ready he is and why he is the second overall pick. The Charlotte Hornets land the third overall pick, and with this pick they will select Brandon Miller out of Alabama. Despite having a decent backcourt duo already in Rozier and LaMelo, Miller seems like the right choice for the Hornets here. At the collegiate level, the standout guard averaged 18.8 points, 8.2 rebounds, and 2.1 assists on decent averages. The reason that I don't believe he will jump up to the second overall pick is because of the meltdown that he had in the tournament. He shot an abysmal 8 for 41 over 3 games there. Even with this, however, I think that he has shown more than enough to be not only the best prospect in all of college basketball, but as a solidified number 3 pick. Despite finishing with the worst record in the league, the Detroit Pistons dropped to pick number 4, and with this pick, they select Amen Thompson out of OT. Amen is a crazy athletic guard with great raw talent, but recently, there have been some concerns with him as a prospect. Amen is 20 years old, playing at OT, a program that has players as young as 15 years old and plays against other top high school teams. This raises concerns that Amen will not be ready to compete and play against NBA players, if he's been spending the last 2 seasons playing against high schoolers. With this being said, I still believe that Amen has great potential and will be a top 5 pick in this year's draft. With the 5th pick, the San Antonio Spurs select Cason Wallace out of Kentucky. The 6'4" guard does it all on the defensive side of the ball and is a real savvy player. This was especially exemplified in Kentucky's March Madness loss to Kansas State, where he had 21 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals, while also shooting a fantastic 82% from the field. I believe that Wallace would be a great piece to help a rebuilding Spurs team. At pick number 6, the Orlando Magic will select Cam Whitmore out of Villanova. The Magic are well into a rebuild that is looking very successful right now, as they currently have Rookie of the Year Paolo Banchero. Despite Villanova not making the tournament, Whitmore did his job this season, averaging a solid 12-5. Even though he started the season off injured, he finished off on a high note. Between Banchero, Suggs, Fultz, Bol, and then Whitmore, the Magic could potentially make a run to the play-in next season. With the 7th pick, the Indiana Pacers will pick Jarace Walker out of Houston. Walker helped lead his Houston squad to a number 1 seed in the tournament, as they were one of the favorites entering it. Walker's rare athleticism really helps him out on the defensive side of the ball, but he's also a great shooter. Walker will complement Halliburton and the rest of the Pacers' current pieces wonderfully, and will be a great asset in a rebuilding Pacers squad. At pick number 8, the Washington Wizards will select Ausar Thompson out of OTE. Yes, the name may sound familiar, as he is the twin brother of earlier pick Amen Thompson. Like his brother, Ausar is also hyper-athletic without much of a jump shot, and a very high basketball IQ with phenomenal passing skills. The same concerns that were raised with his brother are present here with Ausar as well, but even with these, I think both brothers are solidified top 10 picks in this year's draft class. With the 9th pick, the Utah Jazz will select Taylor Hendricks out of UCF. The forward shines on the defensive side of the ball with his lengthy wingspan. He has the ability to stretch the floor and guard 1 through 5, but can also play 3 through 5 on offense effectively. He was the only player in the nation with 63s, 35 dunks, and is only the 4th ever freshman to do so. Finishing out the top 10, the Dallas Mavericks will select Grady Dick out of Kansas. At 6'8", Grady is more or less the consensus number 1 shooter in the draft. As a Jayhawk this past year, he averaged a solid 14-5 and led his squad to a number 1 seed in the tournament. His offensive repertoire will complement Luka and Kyrie nicely, and I believe that he has proved himself more than enough to be a solidified top 10 pick. With the 11th overall pick, the Orlando Magic select Anthony Black from Arkansas. This is the Magic's 2nd pick this lottery, as they acquired this one from the Bulls in the Nikola Vucevic trade. At 6'7", Black is an all-around player who can do it all on the court. This season, he averaged a stellar 12.8 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 3.9 assists. Anthony Black is the kind of player who does the little things on the court that go unnoticed in the stat book but impact winning. With a combination of Black and Whitmore, plus all the pieces Orlando already has, the Magic will be scary in a couple of years. With the 12th pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder will select Keyonte George from Baylor. The 19-year-old averaged 15, 4, and 2 this past season. The combo guard still needs to work on his efficiency, but his high upside is more than enough reason to draft him. He's a good shooter with a solid handle, and I think his potential is too much to pass up on if I'm OKC in this spot. At pick number 13, the Toronto Raptors will select Jordan Hawkins from UConn. Hawkins went off in this year's tournament, leading his team to a national championship while averaging 16 points per game. He's athletic and has shown NBA readiness throughout the season, and I believe that he would help Toronto in either a rebuild or in an attempt to push for the playoffs again, regardless of what they decide to do this offseason. With the final pick of the lottery, the New Orleans Pelicans select Nick Smith Jr. from Arkansas. Earlier this season, Smith Jr. was a top 10 projected pick, but after his injury this season, I believe that he's fallen off a little bit. With that being said, I still think that he's a lottery pick, and the combo guard has some of the highest upside of anybody in this draft. But because of the injury, and whether or not he can stay healthy, I have him falling down to 14. I just want to finish out this video by naming some honorable mentions, as after picks number 10 or 11, the players who will be getting selected are still up in the air for me. So some guys that just missed my cut were Jalen Hood-Schifino from Indiana, Gigi Jackson from South Carolina, Derek Lively from Duke, Chris Murray from Iowa, and Ryan Rupert from France. These are all guys that I can see being drafted in this late lottery area, and who I believe will be good pickups for teams drafting just outside the lottery. The last player that I want to mention real quick here before I wrap up is Emoni Bates. As you may know, Emoni was one of the highest rated players coming out of high school before he decided to go to college early. Although his year last year at Memphis didn't go according to plan, he transferred to Eastern Michigan and had a much better season. Although I don't think Emoni will be picked in the lottery, I wouldn't sleep on him being a late first rounder or early second round pick, as I still believe that he has elite NBA potential. With all that being said, this was my official 2023 NBA mock draft. The draft lottery is happening tomorrow, so with teams moving around and drafting in different spots, my predictions are sure to change. Let me know your draft predictions down in the comments below, and I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thank you for watching, and see you all next time.